Princess Dracula, Book 1, Part 5, Special Online Series, author John Patrick Kennedy.
Roxandra began to cry again. The demon laughed. Its flesh blurred again, and once again she wore her original female form. What infidels are these, Prince Dracula, that you would vanquish?
The Turks!
And why should I grant you this power?
You have been summoned. You are here to do my will and bidding. It is my bidding that you make myself and these 4 men invincible in battle so that we may smite our enemies.
You 5? The demon looked around the circle, smirking, taking in the others. 5 old soldiers. I think some more impressive physical specimens would have been appropriate. Vlad's eyes flashed, and his next words came out through gritted teeth. Each of these men is a leader in my army and a great warrior. Each will inspire his men to greater efforts through his invincibility. Now take your sacrifice and grant my desire. Or what? His face grew red. His next words came out in a snarl. Or we will seal this cave with you in it in the circle to stay here for 1,000 years or more. Well, that would be unfortunate, wouldn't it? The demon knelt between Roxandra's legs and leaned over her. Close your eyes, girl. Roxandra squeezed her eyes tight. She prayed that the thing would not tear her apart. I don't want to die here. I want to live. The metal at her wrists and ankles ripped apart with a loud, fast screech. Roxandra's eyes flew open in surprise. The demon spread its wings and wrapped its large hands around her shoulders and lifted her into a gentle embrace. Her flesh was hot and smelled of sulfur. Her breasts were soft and firm against Roxandra's as she gathered the girl to her chest. One hand slipped underneath Roxandra's backside. Then Roxandra was lifted from the ground. In surprise, she wrapped her arms around the demon's neck. For a moment, she felt reassured. The demon rose to her feet, carrying Roxandra as like a child. She smiled at Prince Dracula. I think not. Demon, do as you are told. By the ritual and the blood you were summoned, Vlad shouted, his face going deep red. By sacrifice you are controlled, and by the laws of heaven and hell you will obey me. The demon's smile grew wide, like a lion baring its fangs. She turned a slow circle. I can sense your lives, mortals. I know what disease will kill each of you should you survive your battles. I know which of you prefer women and which prefer boys. I know what you ate for breakfast, and I know every sin you have committed since your birth. And you think this, she gestured to the pentacle, could control me, fools.
You will obey, Vlad said, his voice commanding and short. You will give me power.
I will give you nothing, the demon hissed. She looked at Roxandra. What is your name, girl? Roxandra thought she was too terrified to speak, but she managed to speak the words. Princess Roxandra Dracula, daughter of Voivode Dracula. The demon looked back at Vlad. You believe betraying your own flesh will give you more power? I command nothing! The demon's voice shook the cave, louder than the thunder that accompanied her arrival. It took 2 steps outside the pentacle, facing Vlad, and pointed at the ground. That thing is a toy, not a barrier. It does nothing but open the door, and nothing you can do will close it until I will it shut. She placed Roxandra gently on the floor, and once again her wings had vanished. Roxandra wondered how enjoyable that must be, wings at will. Vlad stumbled back, grabbing for his sword. The other 4 men drew their own weapons and ran to stand beside him. A company of fools, the demon laughed, surveying them. Too stupid to know they should not deal in powers beyond their world. Too stupid to realize that I and my kind are far, far more powerful than any human could even imagine. Vlad pointed his sword at the demon. The blade shook, then bent upwards as if it was afraid. This blade has been blessed and cleansed against such foul beings as you. I warn you, demon. Oh yes, of course, laughed the demon. Blessed by a fat pig who likes the company of boys and cleansed by the charlatan who murders helpless nuns.
Vlad stuttered. You demon, deceiver.
I am no demon, she shouted. The words cracked like a whip. I am one of those who fell with Lucifer. I am one who has lived in the tormenting fires of hell and will live there for all eternity. I have many, many men like you under my control there, and each one has broken just as you will break. There was a flash of something, and the demon appeared next to Roxandra, who remained limp and terrified. He will kill you, girl. Do you want to die? Roxandra couldn't comprehend the question, nor the speed at which the red-eyed woman had just moved. The demon smiled almost sweetly. She looked into the demon's eyes and saw something much more than a monster. She felt a warmth radiate inside of her chest. The fallen angel cared. She wanted her to live. That was impossible. No creature of hell cared for mortal life. The nuns who spoke of them made that clear. The fallen angels existed to torment the wicked and to ensure them an eternity of suffering for their sins. Or was that a lie? The length of the demon's hair, even the shade changed while Roxandra was staring at her. How fun it must be to change your appearance at will. She was lost in her eyes. "Decide now!" the fallen angel boomed, breaking her out of her trance. "Do you want to die?" Roxandra shook her head. The demon smiled. It wasn't a nice smile or a joyous one. It was a terrible, dark expression that spoke of horrors so deep as to be unfathomable. "Then you will not, my little lamb, ever."
What? Vlad took a step forward. What do you think you are doing?
1,500 years ago, my kind were banished, Roxandra. The demon ran a gentle hand through her hair, like a mother petting a scared child. "We cannot roam the earth. We cannot dominate mankind any longer, nor make them bend to our will. But there's always a way to get around a locked door." The demon lifted her hand to her mouth and ran the end of one finger over the tip of one of her teeth. The skin split open and golden blood welled up on her fingertip. Nothing seemed real. The demon's blood changed colour, and so did her appearance. "What is happening?" She lowered the finger to Roxandra's lips. "Open your mouth." Roxandra wanted to protest, to beg for God's forgiveness and the creature's mercy, to run screaming from the cave, but she couldn't find words or strength in her limbs. She could do nothing but cry as the fallen angel parted her lips. "I send you out instead, my child," the fallen angel said, "to sow chaos and fear, to make humans kneel in terror and to ravage the world where I cannot."
Stop! Vlad's voice was shrill. I command you to stop now.
The fallen angel pushed open Roxandra's mouth and slipped the finger inside. "Soon you will be freer than you have ever dreamed." The drop of blood dripped from her finger onto Roxandra's tongue. Her body arched and convulsed. She was on the floor, though she didn't know how she'd gotten there. She crawled and her cries sounded like an infant. The floor had changed. Was she someplace else? No! The pain! Her heels drummed hard against the ground, and her fingers clenched and unclenched of their own accord. Every inch of her flesh tore itself apart and rebuilt itself in a process that grew more agonizing with every moment. Bones cracked, twisted and moved. Golden blood poured from her wounds, mixing with the red. It was true horror. Roxandra howled like something unearthly. "Shh!" The angel's voice penetrated her mind. It was soothing and gentle. "It will be over soon." She ran a gold fingertip through her hair with tender affection. "My daughter." The world around Roxandra was reduced to a blood-red haze. She could see nothing and felt nothing except agony.
I command you, screamed Vlad Dracula, though he seemed so far away. By the laws of heaven and hell,
"You do not know the laws of heaven or hell, human." The fallen angel's voice broke through the haze. "You want power. Here is power embodied. Control her if you can." Everything was black. A deep, mile-long chasm black. There was nothing. No feeling. No sound. Not even a memory. An emptiness so soul-crushing and frightening that it would shatter any consciousness. Roxandra tried to scream, but she couldn't. "I'm dead and this is all there is." "No, no, no, please, no." Then she thought of her. A tender touch. A finger through her hair. Red eyes, mother. Something struck her face, the pain distant and sharp. She focused on it, focused on finding the source of the pain and the words, and guiding herself out of the darkness toward them.
Wake up, stupid child!
Another sharp, stinging pain hit her cheek, and this time, a small hole broke open in the darkness. The pain came again and again, and with each wave, she came closer to wakefulness.
Get up, you little whore! She is useless, a second voice said.
She still could not understand the words, but now she could hear them, and that was an improvement. The darkness around her paled to red. A third voice said, "We should leave her."
She is my daughter. We can still marry her off, the first voice said, though the words held neither affection nor concern.
She still could not make sense of them, still could not understand anything except that her face hurt, and that she was hungry. Roxandra opened her eyes.